Alright, welcome to Module 4, our next to last orientation module. And in this module we're going to do a very quick introduction to the Google Apps for Education. So our agenda is going to be to just take a look at Gmail, the Google Calendar, the Google Drive, and Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides. And what we're going to do here is actually open up a web browser and just take a very quick look at these 4 items. There are many Google apps that are out there and available for you to use, but these are the main 4 that you need to worry about to get started with your school year. So we'll take a look at each one individually, do a quick review of them together, and then wrap it up at the end with another group of questions for you to answer related to what you learn about in this section. Alright, the first Google app we're going to talk about here is Gmail. Now I assume at this point most of you have experience using an email system. So Gmail is just the email system that we use here at the school. A couple quick things I do want to point out to you. As you can see in the test students account, it has a lot of unread messages. So you can click on any of these messages to read your email. I'm going to go back to the inbox here. If you need to compose an email or write an email, you have this handy dandy compose button that you can use. And it'll show you your to field where you can start typing an email address in. And what's kind of nice is once you type in an email address for the first time, it'll remember that, and so that you won't necessarily have to retype the whole email address every time. So come in here, type in your email address. You see we're going to send this one to my account. Make sure that you always give your email a subject. That's always very important. One thing students sometimes tend to do is just send emails without subjects, but it is very helpful for your teachers if there's a subject in the subject line to kind of give them an idea of what you're emailing them about from the beginning. And it helps them stay organized when there's many different emails from you and other students. So the subject here might be driver's ed quiz. And then you could type in your body of your email. Also make sure that you write a proper email by including your name at the end. So I'm going to say, Mr. Kachuba, can you look at question 3 from today's quiz for me? Thanks. And then just putting your first name is fine. It kind of completes the message. And then just send. And that's all there is to it. So remember, in order to write an email, if you're doing it straight from your Gmail account, you'll click the compose button. A couple other things I do want to show you here is that you do have Google Chat available to you. And you could chat with your teachers using the chat function in Gmail. So you could see that there's a couple teachers listed here that if you see their name, you could double click it and then begin the process to just send a message and hit enter. So something like that. If you don't see your teacher listed here, you can click the search button and start typing in your teacher's name and it should pop up for you. The other thing that I do want to show you is that this button here is a settings button, a little gear icon. You can use that to change some of the settings of your inbox. Like if you want to click on settings, you can change some of these features and put a signature in if you'd like. So you could check that out on your own. And there are certain things that you can modify here, like maybe you want to modify your inbox, or you can leave it just the way it is. It's pretty functional the way that it is. But it will only let you do certain things. Some of the things we have restricted for student accounts. So you could check out the settings that are available to you through the settings button. And then this little tic-tac-toe looking board up here is the Google Apps button. And so this little button here is a button that you click on and access the other different Google apps that are available to you through the school's Gmail system. So we're going to look at just a few more of these, including the calendar, the drive, and docs, as those will be the most frequent ones that you use. And so in the next section, we'll take a look at the calendar. Alright, so in the Google Calendar, this is going to be very important because you're going to see a lot of what you have to do throughout this course of a day once the school year starts right here on your Google Calendar. Now, unfortunately, because I'm recording this in the middle of the summer, you could see that there's not a whole lot going on my calendar. However, what you'll see when you log in here, at the very top will be all of your asynchronous lessons. So when we get into the school year and your teachers start adding things to your courses and to your calendars, you'll see a list of all the different things that you have to complete on a given day up at the very top of the calendar in the what's considered the all day section. So you'll be able to click on any of those items. Like for example, the example live learning session that was used for one of the other modules is here. And so when we click on that, it gives you an idea of what's going on. Anytime that you see something like this where you have a yes, maybe, no, do not click no. You do not get the option to click no. Go ahead and click yes and save if you want to get that out of there. But you don't have to worry about that because anything that your teacher adds to your calendar will continue to stay on your calendar. But you can click on that and you'll see a description of the event. Like this one said, attend a live learning session with a link. Others may explain that there's a lesson that you need to complete, and then there'll be a link to that lesson here as well. Now you can add notifications to your calendar so that if you need a reminder about that session to pop up, you can add those on here as well. So that is something that you can modify on your own. But as we go back, you'll see that the calendar here, like I said, is blank right now. Once you get closer to the school year, you'll start to see more things populated. At the top of the page will be your asynchronous assignments. In the middle here, during the time period, will be any of your live learning sessions, on the day and time that they're scheduled. And what I'll do to give you a better idea of what this looks like is when we get closer to the start of the school year, I'll record another short video that shows a full calendar so that you have a better idea of what to expect when the school year begins. And then I'll email that out to everybody so that everybody in the school gets a chance to see what that looks like. So we're going to go back up to the Apps button, and next we're going to take a look at the Drive. So the Google Drive is a place that you can save any Google documents that you create. And in fact, if you create a Google document using Google Docs or Google Sheets, which we'll talk about next, they will save here automatically. That's kind of the beauty of using the Google Apps to produce things, is that you don't have to worry about trying to save things. It'll save automatically, and it saves on the cloud, so you don't have to worry about your computer possibly dying and then you losing all the work that you did. So the Google Drive works similar to a hard drive or a thumb drive, something where you would typically save files, in that you have options to add folders. You right click in here and add folders if you need to. You could create new files by clicking the new button, and in fact, if you click the new button, you could create a new folder, which it'll ask you to title it, and we'll do something very generic here and call it a new folder, and you'll see that it gets added in there. You can also upload files. For those of you that are on a Chromebook, there should not be much for you to upload. However, if you have an older PC and you need to upload files for your school project, you could do that here. You can upload folders, and then through this new button you can actually open brand new documents. If you click the Google Docs button, you see it creates a document that is totally online. Notice I'm going to give this document a name. We'll call this a test Google Doc. And now it has a name. I'll type some information in here. You'll see a very creatively, I'll type exactly what I said. And let's say that that's all I have for right now. I could just exit out of it. And notice I didn't click save, But back here in my drive, there is my test Google Doc. And if I double click that to open it up, you'll see the same stuff that I typed in there is already saved for me. So Google Docs, which is the next app that we'll talk about here, is basically the Google version of Microsoft Word. Your Chromebook does not have Microsoft Word on it. So you will need to use Google Docs to create documents, to write papers, to create other things that you might need for your classes. So it'll be right here in the Google Docs. You can open up through the drive, or you could come back to the Apps button and click the Docs button there to open up a different looking page. And then from this page, to create something brand new, you could click this little plus button, and it'll start with a new document. Or you can open up things that you've already worked on, like our test Google Doc. And just to show you something else real neat here, you notice I have the test Google Doc open in two separate tabs. If I add new stuff to it, it shows right up on the other one as well. So they are totally on the cloud, totally cloud-based, and it kind of just shows how it's saved for you there automatically. So that's Google Docs. The other options that you have here, and I will tell you that me personally, I generally like to create my new documents, new sheets, new slides through my drive, just because it's a little bit more intuitive to me. So I would come, if I wanted to create a spreadsheet, I'd come to New and click Google Sheets to create a new spreadsheet. However, you might be more comfortable with coming to your Apps button and clicking Sheets, and then hitting the plus button to create something brand new. It's totally up to you. And there's actually other Apps buttons within your Chromebook that you can use to access this as well. As long as you're logged into your Gmail account, it'll all be the same place. It'll all be the same documents, no matter how you access it. If you are at somebody else's house and you log into their personal computer, as long as you log into your Gmail account and are using the same web browser, you could access all the same things. So that's what the real big advantage is to using the drive and using Google Docs and Sheets and slides, is that being cloud-based, you can access it from anywhere, and you have less chance, a very greatly reduced chance of losing any of the work that you created. So that's a very quick introduction into Google Apps, including Gmail, the calendar, your drive, and documents and sheets and things like that. As you go through the year, you'll have plenty of opportunity to learn how to use all these different apps, and then even more. And I'll work throughout the year to send out some other refresher videos to show you some of the other neat things that you could do with these apps as well. But for right now, that'll be enough. And we'll go ahead and exit out of here and go back to our presentation. Alright, so that was our quick run through of 4 of the Google apps that we'll use pretty extensively throughout the course of this school year. So now I'm going to have you answer a few questions related to those Google apps and what you learned about them in this presentation. Then once you finish that up, there's only one more section of orientation left. So the next section is about getting the support that you need and who to contact here at PA Distance Learning. So go ahead and take your time with this last group of questions. Thanks for your attention in this module, and we'll see you for Module 5 here shortly.